In this video, I'm going to show you 2 ways to edit STL models that you've downloaded. So, if you're interested in knowing how to do this, stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to start with the easiest way. Before I do that, let me explain when I've had to do this. A while back, I downloaded the incredible print-in-place lizard model from Thingiverse. While I really loved this print, what I really wanted to do was use it as a keychain. Unfortunately, the model does not have a place to hook a ring for a keychain, which meant that I had to modify the model in some way. Given the complexity of this model, it wasn't really possible to convert it to something editable in a CAD program such as FreeCAD. However, considering the simple mod I was trying to do, there is a much better way. So let me show you how. I'm going to use FreeCAD 0.20, so it's the latest version that's available. And I will create a new body and a new sketch. And for this model, I'm going to create a sketch on the XY plane. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create a circle. And I'm going to make the circle 12 millimeters. So I'm going to constrain the diameter, and I'll make the diameter 12 millimeters, like so. The next thing I'm going to do is I will draw another circle inside this circle, and I will make this circle 10 millimeters. And I'm just going to use the origin point for both circles. So I will constrain this, and I'll make it 10 millimeters. All right, so I've got 2 circles, one circle inside another circle, and this is going to be the ring that I'm going to create for the keychain. So I'm going to close the sketch, and then I'm going to pad it. I'll make the pad 2 millimeters. And there is the ring that I'm going to use for the keychain. I'm going to put it right at the nose of the lizard, and I'll be able to hang a key off of that. So I'm going to save this model as an STL. I'll export it as an STL, and I will call it lizard ring keychain STL. I've already got one saved here, but I did that previously. I'm going to save this one as well, and I will replace the one that's already there with this one. Once you've got the model, go to your slicer, and in this case I'm going to be using Prusa slicers, so I'm going to open up Prusa slicer, and I will bring in the lizard like so. And I'm going to rotate the lizard so that the head is facing the front, like so. And then I'm going to bring in the ring that I just made. So lizard ring keychain STL, I bring it in, and it's hiding. It's probably under the lizard. There it is, right there. So I'm going to have to take it from under the lizard and bring it into the open, like so. And now all we need to do is place the ring where we want it to be. So let's do that, like so. We'll put that at the head on the nose, like just like that. And this is perfect. And we can modify the lizard very simply by creating another model inside FreeCAD or whatever computer-aided design application you're using. Create the model and then bring it into the slicer and place it where you want it to be. And this way you can work with complex models. So this lizard is too complicated to actually convert into an editable body that you can edit in the CAD application. So this is the next best thing. Now, obviously, if you have to make complicated changes, this isn't going to work. But for something simple like this, where I just want to add a little ring on which I can hook a keychain, this will work just fine. So let's print this out and see how it turns out. The second way of modding an STL is to convert the STL to an editable model. While this is probably the best way, it's also computationally challenging. There is no guarantee that the STL can be easily converted to something that can be edited. As a general principle, the simpler the model, the easier it'll be to convert it to an editable body. The model that I'm going to be using as an example is a jumper wire organizer that I downloaded from printables.com. While the model is nice and simple and doesn't require a lot of plastic to print, it does have a problem in that the posts for the jumper wires are too short. The posts should be at least double the height, if not more. So for this example, I'm going to take the STL model and convert it to an editable body using FreeCAD. So let's get into FreeCAD and I'll show you how it's done. All right, so let's start by bringing in the part that I'm going to edit. And we'll just start a new project first of all. And now we can import the part into the project. So the part that I'm going to edit is called Part 1 STL. Now, as you can see, the part is brought into FreeCAD without any issues. However, this part is not editable. So you can see it, but there's really not much that you can do with it as it stands right now. Before you can do anything with this part, you have to convert it into an editable body. So let me show you what happens if I try to make a sketch on the part. So let's say I want to make a hole here. Well, I would first of all click on this side of the part, and then I would create a sketch. And as you can see, it doesn't work. You can create a sketch in here, but it's not going to allow you to edit the part. So let's just undo this and convert the part into an editable body. Now, as I said before, the principle that you need to live by when you're trying to edit a part like this and make it into an editable body in a CAD program is that the simpler the better. And there are lots of parts that will not work, at least not in FreeCAD, because they're just too complicated and they can't be easily converted into a body. In any event, this part is a fairly simple part, so it'll probably work just fine. So the way we start is by first of all moving from part design to part. So first of all, we're going to go to the model view, and then we're going to click on part here, and we're going to go to the pull down menu, go to part, and we'll say create shape from mesh. We'll click on that and a new window will pop up, which basically will allow us to decide on the resolution. So right now it's 0.10. Since we want to work with the highest possible resolution, we're going to change it to 0.01. We'll say OK, and this will convert it to a part that is closer to being editable. Now, the original STL we can delete since we don't need it anymore. So let's just click on that and delete it. The next thing we need to do is highlight the part again, go to part, and we'll convert it into a solid. So click on convert to solid, and the part will be converted to a solid. You won't see anything except there will be solid written beside the part. So at this point you can delete the part that we created previously. You'll notice that there are all sorts of weird triangles and so on that will make this very hard to work with. So we want to get rid of that. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. And we're going to do this by highlighting the part here. And we'll go to part. And we'll go to create a copy and refine shape. When we click on that, you can see that the part is now all clean and the triangles are gone. Now, the next thing that we need to do is actually create a body from this part that we can edit. And the way we do this is by going to part design, going to the model view again, and clicking on part here, and then creating a body by clicking the create body option on the menu. So we'll do that, and now we have a body that we can actually edit. So what I'm going to do is raise the posts here by about 20 millimeters. I'm going to raise them to 35 millimeters because they're way too short and I can't really put a lot of wires in the posts, between the posts as they stand right now. So I'm going to do that. And also I'm going to make this opening here just a bit wider because the way it is right now, it's just too narrow and the part that fits in there doesn't fit very well. So I'm going to make two modifications. All right, so I'm going to click on body, and then I'm going to click on the part, and I'm going to create a new sketch. And now I can edit this body without any issues. So what I'm going to do is essentially create some posts here that are, higher. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to create a rectangle around this part like so. And I'm going to quickly constrain this. So let's just start with the vertical lines. And as I said, I'm going to make it 35 millimeters. So 35. And then the horizontal lines, I'm going to make 2.75 because I know that's the width here. So we'll just make it 2.75. And then we'll raise this up so that it's nice and even with the post. There we go. So it's perfectly lined up. Now we're going to constrain it so that it's fully constrained. So we'll take this point here and we'll use the origin point and we'll constrain it vertically, and that's 10 millimeters, so we'll leave that. And then we'll constrain it horizontally, which will give us a fully constrained sketch. And we have to put these posts on all of these. So what we're going to do is copy this, and then we're going to go to the copy option, and we will just copy it a couple of times, like so. So let's just do it again. I'll do it quickly. All right, so now that I've got 3 of them, what I'm going to do is actually highlight them all, and I'm going to use the clone option. So if you go to the copy tool, you have a couple of other options here. So I'm going to click on the clone tool, and then I'm going to go to the 3rd one here, and I've cloned 3 of them, and I'll do that again. So let's clone another 3. Great, and we'll clone the final 3. Like so. There we go. Now the last one is a little too wide, so we're just going to change that. And we'll clone this. So I'm just going to clone that last one here, like this. And now we pretty much have this done. So I'm going to go to close, and I'm going to pad this. And the padding is in the wrong direction, so I'm going to have to reverse it like that, and then I'm going to have to change the length to 4.5, so 4.5 millimeters, and click OK. And now we've got the poles perfectly aligned and looking pretty good. And I'm just going to leave them flat at the top because I don't need to have them, with this fancy shape like they have here. This is a very utilitarian tool. So the next thing I want to do is I want to expand this a little bit by 1 millimeter. I'm going to create another sketch. I'm going to click on this and create another sketch for the hole. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool again. So let's just do this quickly. Great. So first of all, we'll make this the right height, and then we'll constrain it. So we'll start with a vertical constraint. We'll make it 4 millimeters because that's the height of it. And then we'll make this 1 millimeter, the horizontal constraint. 1 millimeter, like so. All right, so that seems to work reasonably well. Let's just make sure that it's properly lined up. Perfect. Now we're going to constrain it to the origin point like I did before. So first of all, we'll constrain it horizontally, and then we'll constrain it vertically, and now we have a fully constrained sketch. Great. And now we're just going to copy it. So we'll make this the point that we're going to copy to. So let's just do that. So we'll copy this, and we'll copy this, and we'll copy this. So this point should be the point that we're going to copy to. So we'll click on copy, and sure enough that works. We'll go to this point here, and there we go. So now we can close the sketch and simply make a pocket. And there we go. We've actually extended this a little bit, made it a little wider, and now the part should fit better. So we'll say OK, and now we've got everything we need to have done, and it should work. So the next thing that we need to do is basically just send it to the printer and see how it turned out. So I'm going to do that, and then we can take a look at it. Okay, I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, I urge you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Every new subscriber helps motivate me to make more videos to help you with your 3D printing and other creative tech projects. And since subscribing costs you absolutely nothing, it would mean a lot to me if you help me out in this regard. Just to emphasize this, I'll wait for 3 seconds while you hit the subscribe button. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So, until next time, take care and happy 3D printing. Bye-bye.